Yo, 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 it's Jeb in his house. Hey, yo, we're going to space, yo. Hey, yo, we're going to space. Rolling on 909s, making money big time. Hustle Uncle Sam on the taxpayer's dime. We're the spacemen in our space bridges. We gone from rags to buku riches. Throw your rockets in the air like you just don't care. Throw your rockets in the air like you just don't care. We a G unit, baby. And don't you forget it. We a G force, homie. That's a G limit. We on fire like a blade of home down. See you later. But before I'm out, let's launch this Cap Simulator. We a G unit, baby. We a G unit, baby.
Hello everybody, the iLord Root here, and welcome back to another episode of G-Limit. So, I did miss out on the chance to record some video. Actually, my mic wasn't picking up, so instead of trying to go through and voice over everything, I would show that we had found the Techite lander. We're here in the East Crater, by the way, and while we are at it, let's just take Rosenna here real quick. I believe we do have a fair amount of things to take here. And we really just want to grab what little science is left here. We're at 550 or so data here. And really I just want to show you that we have a number of... Gravity on the moon is kind of strange. But we have here a little platform we can get. We'll just climb over that real quick. But when we're landed, we can grab the science like so. We'll take that data there. And reset our materials by, and then we'll go with this guy too. We're largely training up our astronauts here so that they are fully experienced by the time that they come back. And that could be trouble if we let it. Fine controls would probably be helpful here. Let's restore the goo. I'm going to turn off the thing here. We'll observe it. And we'll take it back again. So yeah, we're about ready to go back up. We've gotten about everything we need here, I think. Maybe a surface sample would be good. And we should in fact send out that other one. Because we happen to have, in addition to all that, other things as well. Although, maybe not. There's our flag. We'll just climb into the capsule, and looks like we had to dump one of the experiments, but that's okay. We'll wait quickly for our moon transfer to come, but we're going to need about 700 meters per second at delta V to get into orbit, and we'll need some yet still to come back down, and I do want this to be a reusable lander. This is definitely our... What this basically is this is our dress rehearsal for Mars, because we're sending a fair amount of Kerbals over. So let's go to the Space Center real quick, and why don't we take a look and see what contracts we do have. Okay, so we're back here. And we happen to have a number of contracts, actually, that will be very helpful for us. That'll fund this next mission we're doing. So we have, of course, planting a flag on Minmus, because we will need to do more in the way of refueling. And that will be interesting in and of itself. But we need to do something about that. I mean, it's, maybe not the easiest thing to get that. We have science data from space around Minmus as well. And that should cover the cost of the launch. But, in addition to that, we have this new surface outpost on the moon, and that'll be important because we're going to need to do some things while we are around the moon, and I don't know if I'm going to send everybody to Duna. That seems to be a rather, big thing to do. So, we have people manning the station around Minmus right now. And let me just load up this new craft that I have ready for us. Okay, we are back, and this is the ITS Cataplepus. We didn't spend any science so far in getting this. And that's largely because I want to be real careful about the science we get. We are going to return some from the way back from the moon, and that'll be very helpful, of course. But, in the interim, we're going to need to have a number of things. We're going to need to be able to transport fuel around, because Minmus does have a great amount of fuel. Now, eventually, we're going to want to put an asteroid in orbit, in low Kerbin orbit, and the reason for that is because a Class D or a Class E asteroid is going to be pretty much what we want for, even though it's a finite fuel supply, it'll be an interesting experiment, to say the least. So we have this guy here. We are going to target Minmus. And I think that we're okay to begin, pardon me, to begin getting this guy up there. And this guy is going to bring fuel to the Minmus station and bring back one of the engineers, because we need one to go to Mars with us, or to Duna rather. So we've got this whole triple engine thing going on. We've got the small fuel tanks, or the medium 3/4 inch fuel tanks here. And I think we're just going to go ahead and get into orbit here. So I'll do that, and I will probably see you around orbital insertion. Okay, there we go. We are now in orbit, and really it's just a matter of sending this guy out. This guy is completely unoccupied at the moment, but I will do my best to get a good maneuver going here. Perhaps we will be on the short end, and yeah, we'll get a good maneuver going, and we will see you then. Okay, we're getting close here, so I'm gonna kick down the throttle. And let's see how close we got. We're somewhat off, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. That is way out there. Well, unfortunately, we have inclination to worry about, and we can correct that out here. Alright, that should be in a couple of hours at least. So we can at least work on getting these Kerbals back up, which is going to be a good thing to shoot for. We will enter. Oh wait, we're coming in on the... Yeah, we're coming on the right side. But that particular point of intercept will be in 8 days. which means we have some science we can get done in the meantime. So, I will see you here in a bit when we get back to the ground, to the lunar surface. Actually, I could potentially build a station of some kind. So why don't we do that, at the very least? Why don't we build ourselves a station? Okay, we are now back, and I have built this little contraption here. This is our new moon base, and we need to unlock the cupola. But, yeah, we'll get it launched. I noticed during some testing that, Asteroid Day needed some updating, and so I ran time for it in a simulation, and I had realized that we were not capturing any asteroids for the time that we've done. Fortunately, I don't think it's a huge deal, because we should finish before really anything else. Anyway, we're going to ship this guy to the moon here. It cost right about maybe 5k more than our initial budget for the contract, but we will have to get this guy into orbit, and I will do so now. Okay, we will go with this. The main thing here is we actually need a fairly low periapsis. One that is able to easily accommodate a shallow re-entry. You'll notice I have this little sky crane style thing here with almost 900 meters per second at delta V, but I do not know if that will be enough. Definitely, we'll have to see. We're wanting to take advantage of the Oberth effect, though, and the main reason that we are doing it this way is that we'll have about 500 or so meters per second of delta V left, maybe 400. And we'll want to use that to help us brake. It's not the best insertion, but it'll do. And my guess is if we time this out, a nifty feature about this, we want to burn at 44 seconds or so. So I'll get the burn to the moon going, and then our next deal is to do the correction for the Catoblepus. There we go, we have a periapsis of 21 kilometers. And let's get this guy enqueued here. We are fairly good. We want this guy to be centered as much as possible. We have 429 or 492 meters per second to go on this. So the Catoblepus is going to be on its way for a correction. Just a minor one. And we'll do that now. Got a lot of unmanned vessels. Should be noted, of course, that when we do this, we have a 3.1 second start, 3 seconds or so. So let's get this guy going here. Let's see how close we are now. That is not a desirable orbit. We want that encounter to happen a little bit on the lower side. Not too low, mind you. Maybe something like that. Okay. We are slated to show up in 8 days. Let's just get rid of this. And, yeah, let's go to our other guy here. I'll just switch vessels real quick, and we shall see it in action. This guy has been a little bit buggy. However, we are still mapping Kerbin. This actually required an update. And as a result, there's been a little bit of a glitch where we can get this data again. I think that's a fair exchange for the data that we could have lost, the fact that we could have had this contract a little bit earlier. That much to me seems pretty clear. I wonder if it has to do with the situation that we're in, as to whether or not we get science. I remember this, we already took this science, but nonetheless, that's something for us to spend it on, or we have something to spend here. And let's just jump to the moon base. And here we go. We want to get into an orbit real quickly. That will not take long. We're going to have a low orbit, I think. That's about as low as I'm willing to go with that. We have 217 meters per second of delta V left. And really we need to go to the Red Mod satellite now to figure out where we have ore. So, we'll toggle the overlay here. And let me point out again about this here. You'll see that there's a heat map color. The only trouble with it is that the scale that they use for the heat map is not very good. That having been said, it looks like craters are something to avoid. May, if we could land around here, I will show you that we actually... The moon is pretty rich in ore. If we set the cutoff here to 90%, you'll see we could land here next to where Bob originally landed. And that'll probably be okay. There we go. You know, it's flat enough if you ask me. I'm just gonna leave it there, I think. And we'll just jettison the little pod there. We have a bit of a slope, like a 2.1 degree slope, but we can work with that. And let's follow this guy around, because we rarely do. This guy's just probably going to explode. Gotta love explosions on the moon. Well, did we get that contract? We sure did. That means that we have a number of things going on here, of course. Now we're stable. Let's first check out, see if there's anything new in the way of contracts. You know, that gives us a fair amount of money, and we can build an ore extraction ship to do that. But I'd rather have a space station. I'll just leave it there for now while we decide what to do with that. Because we have to take the Techite lander and get it into orbit. I mean, we can make a reasonable argument, I think, that Oh, it's transmitting. Our base should be close by. I think that's it over there. We should be able to easily get back up into orbit with it. Okay, we are about to dock here. And probably just as well, actually. But I think maybe the thing that we want to do... Well, first of all, looking at it, we probably have enough for another landing, although I don't want to try that immediately. However, I think it would be good to have Valentina come over here and take the data that we presently have and then go over to the Heavenly Heather with it, because this is going to come back to the station. And we will... Oh, excellent. You can grab the top of that. We will have a need to get to the, some of the data back. That would be very nice. But in the interim, I think what I really need to do, because we've got a bit of a window, the contracts might have changed, but probably not. What I want to do right now is I want to take the Planet's Tog and begin deorbiting everything, because we do happen to have a lot of debris in orbit. And so I'll take care of that real quick, and hopefully by the time I'm done, there will be some sort of other thing we can do. Perhaps the Catoblepus will be in orbit. So, I'm in the middle of refueling the Catoblepus right now, and it's taking a while, but I did check my contracts, because I've been looking for simple contracts to do, and we don't really have any space stations out in orbit of Kerbin right now, and we get science for it in addition to money. We don't really have anything else to do at this point, so my thought was, why don't we take one of these stations, because we only have to have 5 Kerbals in a research lab. We have something that fits the bill for that, I'm more than certain. Okay, I believe we're ready to launch. Well, almost ready anyhow. We got one more little tweak to do here. Just need these guys here. We will... Yeah, everything looks like it's staged properly. So my plan is to get this on near solar orbit. Well, near the Kerbin, anyhow. And we're about, I think it's $3,000 under our contract. Let me just make sure this does, in fact, meet the requirements. We, of course, have no window. And that is going to be good. Yeah, we just gotta get this thing into a solar orbit. So, I'm going to do that real quick. And, we will see you probably up in Kerbin Orbit. Okay, that looks good enough to me. We have about 1700 meters per second of delta V with which to both correct this and also get it into its proper orbit. So I'm going to plot out a course real quick, and I will show you precisely what I am doing. Okay, so here we go. We are right on the edge of Kerbin SOI here. That is in 20 days. And what I've got is pretty interesting. I've got well, I happen to have a mid-course plane change in between. The reason we're partially doing it this way, at least, is so that this guy, when it's on its return course, can re-enter. And we will just need to see what will be necessary to get it into a stable orbit. Let's just real quickly see what the burn time is. It's 53 seconds that we need to burn at. And I will put that in now. It's... well, that was kind of pointless. And then this next maneuver over here is in 30 minutes, which will give me enough time to make a minor correction. So 53 seconds is where we need to burn at, and I will probably see you out near the course correction. Okay, let's go ahead and get oriented for our course correction here, which looks like it's a descending node burn. So far, everything is going according to plan. We should be able to easily accommodate this, because it doesn't really have to be anywhere besides an orbit of the Sun. So we might as well make it pretty close by. Although we really could have taken advantage of this opportunity, I reckon, to get a space station going to Mars, which we do sorely need. That'll be okay, though. I think a space station around Mars will give a little bit more in the way of capability. Let's just add that one maneuver node there. That is barely anything in terms of our maneuver node. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see what happens when we get this thing down to 0. Well, that's about as close as we'll go. We are not out of orbit yet, so maybe there's some things we can do to lower this periapsis. Like, a radial burn would probably be wise in this case. Well, yeah, getting it on the plane as much as possible is a very good idea. It'll make it easy for us to reach. There we go. Let's pull that in as close as possible. And that'll be in 20 days or so. Okay, we are back, and Barger is just shipping off now. We have completely fueled this with monopropellant and liquid fuel and oxidizer. I'm leaving this thing up here without oxidizer, just so we get a little bit extra fuel for the trip back. And I am presently working now to get us into Lunar SOI. So, it'll take a little while. Take about, if we look at the burn average here, about a minute to get out there. But it's a close approach, and Mercer additionally is carrying with him just a little bit of science. He's got a surface sample that will go back with them. So we're going to the moon, and we are going to refuel. I will probably see you around lunar orbit, but before I do, there is something I do want to show you that I think is going to be important. And that is that we got another contract. And what we're going to do with that contract, of course, is plant a flag on Duna. So, I'm planning to operate the Techite lander to maybe use one of these guys, the toroidal aerospike. And, yeah, that will work just fine for our purposes. It's got a lot more thrust than the little, I guess the LV-909. So we will get into orbit, and we will see you then. Okay, we are now about to dock here. And, Berger will join the elite crew of all-female Kerbals that will eventually do their thing. I think it's definitely worth pointing out that, you know, these guys right here definitely need to be refueled. And we can do that real quick. In fact, we'll just get all of it done at once. So it's pretty easy to do. We brought tons of fuel with us here. And I will just let that happen real quick. Okay, we are done refueling now. And I guess before we really talk about anything else, we have a task for Berger here. One that really involves him taking the data that he has grabbed. Maybe he can grab an EVA report too. Although we probably already have one. Oh no, we do not have one over the Midlands here. Well, let's just get back in real quick and transfer that. Well, because it would be good to have. A little bit of extra science is never a problem. Well then, let's find good old Berger here. Let's take the data. And he now has the task of bringing the data over to the Heavenly Heather here. Oh, why am I going backwards? He's got to bring it over here and grab on. Something is up with my Kerbal here. Berger has possibly imbibed alcohol before grabbing or going into flight. Well, anyway, he's going to grab this, and he's going to store the data. And he's going to come back over here to this back pod, where he will board. There's a question of where to go at this point. And my thought is that it would be good if maybe we could hit one of these canyons or which will be somewhere around here. And the thing about hitting the canyon is that we can hopefully get twice the science out of this one run. We gotta make 2 trips, but we might as well get as much of the science as we can. Let's just double check our fuel situation to make sure that we are in fact balanced. And I will see you on the surface. So, let's do that. Okay, we are back, and now it is time for us to go to the canyons. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Let's just zoom in here. We want to really make an effort here to get over there. Now, as it turns out, this crater is fairly big, and I need to turn just a little bit. Maybe get us some apoapsis height as well. I'm going to turn on time acceleration. Can level out just a little bit. I'm gonna just try to hit the lip of this thing. Maybe like that. Anyway, we should land pretty soon, I reckon. And the terrain is relatively flat here. The last thing we really want is to hit those canyon walls. This is more of the job of a rover, I guess. But we will just land here. And I'm not worried about spending all of the fuel. Oh, yeah, let's get our crew report here. These biomes, of course, are very good to have. And we're pointing in about the right way to see the sign here. So, I'm going to go ahead and do the whole science thing. And I will see you shortly. Okay, I think we're good to meet up with the space station now. And, we might as well. So, I'm going to go to step. We need to get a little bit of distance here so we don't crash into the surface. But other than that, I think we'll be okay. And we just have to send down one more Kerbin. So, I will see you when we are close to docking. And, by the way, we are over our 1,000 science limit. So, we will definitely unlock the new mining technology. That, for sure, I want to unlock. But, we'll probably do that near the end of the episode, because we still have plenty of science coming. So, I will see you once we are all fueled up and ready to bring down Berger. Okay, we are now back, and accompanying Berger down is Rosenna, because if somebody needs to train him and show him how the women in the space program really do things, then why not anybody besides the senior scientist on the mission commander, as it were. Well, we're going to undock, and we're going to get out of the way real quick. Once this mission has been completed, we are going to head on to our favorite place here. And by our favorite place, I, of course, mean one of these places here. There's the far side crater. I'm going to try and hit the northern crater, I think. Then maybe it's the northwest crater. I think that would be good. And we're fully fueled, so, well, I'm not willing to say that nothing can go wrong. We do have, a lot in the way of things that can go right. And we are now about to land. There we go. More or less a perfect landing. Perfect enough, anyhow. And, Berger, since he does not have any experience whatsoever, is going to step out and plant the flag, but there's much to be done. Okay, we are about to dock up with the mop, of course, and having met Rosenna's exacting standards, Berger has been accepted as chief engineer on this mission, and this otherwise all-female crew. Now, of course, they are wanting to get home as quickly as possible because it is Christmas Eve at this time, and Berger will just take his seat here in the back. But Valentina, being the science officer on this mission, actually has a bit of a more difficult job to do. She has to EVA and, grab all of the science that they took. And she could actually instruct Valentina that yes, we are ready to go, but that, as it turns out, is not quite necessary yet. There are some final checks that need to be made before we actually board or get underway here, including the trajectory that we'll be taking. But they're confident that they have enough science to make the Mars mission happen. And in that case, everybody is focusing then on the eventual insertion into solar orbit of the DS-1 space lab, or space station. So we will do that now. And there we go. Now, we want to tweak the period just a little bit. And for reference, the actual period of this is, it's going to need to be something along the lines of, let's install the orbital period into that. 426 days? Let's just sort that out. Let's see what it will take to increase our period. We're decreasing it by going retrograde. It seems... we're going, yeah, we were in fact going retrograde here. We have, should have at least plenty of Delta V to make this deep space station be on an appropriate period here. I think that is about where it needs to be. And, yeah, we will, at this time, raise our periapsis. So we'll schedule that. But for now, I think the best thing to do, since we just got this contract here, and we have money, is to, I guess, affect the return. So we will see you here in a bit. And we are now back, and not a moment too soon. These guys are ready to return to Kerbin. And really, the thing that we're going to try to do here is we're going to take these guys here, and we could propulsively burn. That's definitely something that we could do. But, we would like to avoid the need to do that. Okay, we have just completed that burn, and we just need to do something kind of special here. We have an inclination, and that needs to go down. And it shouldn't really require too much, but we'll use the map view as a guide for this. I'm going to go ahead and get pointed retrograde, or anti-normal, rather. Doing it out here will save us some time. And when our orbits begin to meet up, like so, then we will pause and do the anti-normal burn. So it's about there, so we can burn anti-normal, and our node probably change just a little bit. We want to get it down as low as possible. There we go. I'm gonna call that... Oh, we had Nan. Somewhere around here. Oh, that's probably close enough. Let's warp to our SOI. Our periapsis is going down just a little bit, so we'll get the pilot here to reduce our inclination or our orbit just a little bit, because we did raise our orbit in the process of that. And I think maybe around there will be good. Anyway, I will see you close to the first error braking pass. Okay, we're now close to Kerbin, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stow solar panels, and the reason I'm doing this is because if I don't, they'll burn off. Now the radiators perhaps will end up staying connected. At least that's the hope. But we're getting pretty close to periapsis here. And basically the idea is that hopefully these solar panels will act in a way as sails and will catch enough drag. I really should have probably added error brakes here as well. But this is going to be a slow re-entry here. Main reason is that we want to see really if we can re-enter this way, and really if, you know, it would save much delta V in the long run. You can see our inclination over here is actually quite good. And we are slowly losing altitude rather rapidly. This is the part which is actually pretty high energy. And things will have the appearance of overheating, but our radiators are helping make sure that they do not. It'll be touch and go for a bit, for sure. You can see we are already quite low, and we will reach this point again close to another 4 or 5 hours. We just don't want that periapsis to dip too low. This is actually going quite a deal better than I imagined it would. And we've probably already saved close to 150 meters per second of delta V by performing this maneuver. But yeah, now we're coming back up. Around 50 meters, what I'm going to do is induce a little bit more in the way of drag by flipping the vessel over. And that'll cause a little bit of heating on our end. But that's killed close to 200 meters per second of delta V, which is really the ticket here. And I'm just going to keep on flipping around to induce more of the way, more in the way of drag while we're here. Okay, well, we're back out, so solar panels need to come out, and we will do a burn up near the top to raise our periapsis just maybe 500 meters or so. Our ascending node is pretty good, actually. I don't think I could be any more happy with that. So let's quickly get the null maneuver going here. There we go. Let's just get close by. This guy, of course, is a lot of torque, but not quite enough in the way of reaction control to deal with it. So, yeah, all we gotta do now is raise our periapsis just a little bit. And I will see you as we get, I guess maybe around 200 or 300 kilometers would be the best. We'll see you then. Okay, we're on our third air braking pass, but I just wanted you to see how fast we're going relative to the station. We've got a 50 or so kilometer intercept. But now we will probably point orbital here. And, I may possibly pull in the radiators at some point if I feel that we are beginning to get too low. Okay, we are about to reach periapsis on our fourth and final pass. It'll probably take us a minute or so to get out of the atmosphere. Maybe descending a little bit too rapidly. Come to think of it, we're losing a lot of altitude at this point. But if we can get between, I don't know, 200 and 300 meters, then it'll be just fine. I think, well, pardon me, I think part of what I can do to help with this is, if needed, I can retract those radiators. And in that case, we will be able to do whatever is needed there. In fact, I think I will probably do that, given our present periapsis situation. We will tilt some, but it will prevent us from losing too much velocity. This is a pretty good height, I think, because we will only expend somewhere to the tune of 100 meters per second of delta V. And over 850, I think that is successful. I mean, we didn't really have to burn any fuel, we just had to wait. Looks like it's probably been a day and a half or so. I'll have to tally it up and get back to you on that. But it's good to know that this thing can survive if you fly it properly. The next order of business, of course, is for us to raise our periapsis. And we ended up in pretty much the worst place here for us to do that. We don't have any heating effects, so I'm going to bring out the solar panels now. I think, oh, we got a little bit of drag down here, come to think of it. It will require less delta V to get in, of course, and it'll also make our rendezvous a little bit easier. So, yeah, anyway, I'm going to plot and execute the circularization maneuver. and I will let you know when that has been done. There we go. We are in about as good of an orbit as we could want at this point. Less than a degree, less than 1/100th of a degree impact of inclination, and some 400 meters difference in our orbit. And that just means we need to now work on meeting up with the station. Okay, we are getting pretty close here. I decided we can fly this using the cockpit view. Provide an interesting viewpoint here for us. And really, I think these guys are ready to go home. I believe that probably the first order of business is for us to take all of this delicious scientific data that we have here, and the steam overlay has gotten in the way yet again. And Rosenna, being the science officer aboard this mission, will have to ensure that everything is taken care of. From there, it's really just a matter of everybody being transferred in. So I'm going to have all of the superiors up in this top command pod. And then these guys here will come down and do their thing, which will of course mean that they should be okay. Okay, I think we are ready to ship off now. Got 7 people, which oddly enough is the same number is on the shuttle. And it's really just a matter now of us finding the best place to land. Which, you know, I suppose would probably be somewhere around here, so probably a 25-kilometer deal would be okay. I'm gonna go for maybe 23.5. Just because these guys are really not, you know, they've been in space for a long time, and they are probably turning into jelly. So we'll see you close to landing. Okay, we're coming down quite quickly, but we should land. We're not in an ideal location, to be sure. Let me just time warp down. You're over the highlands, coming down on what appears to be a hill. And hopefully that will not create too much of a problem. Probably should fire the retro rockets. And there we go. Let's see what we got from that. So I'm thinking that's definitely good. And we've also got 93% of our value. But here's something too. Everybody leveled up, with the exception of Rosenna, who is already fairly high level. And so we've got level 2 people now. And we have this contract to extract ore and deliver it to Minmus, or to Kerbin, which I think I'll take. I'm not going to do it this episode. In fact, I think this will be the end of it. But we need a way to test the Techite lander. Or not the Techite lander, but our new vessel. So I'm going to send that over. In the interim, we have a lot of things to do around Ike, and we will be preparing for that next episode. Until then, this has been Thy Lord Root, and I will see you later.